The art of malicious compliance and the golden silence rule. Growing up, my dad was a silence is golden kind of guy. Specifically, during his 60 minutes of peace, right after he got home from the office. The rule was simple: no talking, no noise, and no asking for anything until the kitchen clock hit 6 p.m. If you broke the peace, that was an automatic Saturday morning of pulling weeds. No trial, just manual labor. By the time I was 15, I decided if he wanted absolute silence, I'd give him a library. But I wasn't just going to be quiet. I was going to be ghostly. It started on a Tuesday. I didn't just stop talking. I stopped existing audibly. I spent my allowance on those thick, fuzzy cabin socks so my footsteps were completely muffled. When Dad walked through the door, I was already in the living room sitting perfectly still. I didn't say hi, I just slowly nodded, like a creepy Victorian child in a horror movie. The next day, I took it up a notch. I realized that breathing makes noise. So I started practicing these long, rhythmic, silent breaths. Whenever Dad looked over his newspaper, I'd just stare back, blinking in slow motion, holding a sign made of poster board that said, "I trust your day was adequate. Father." He gave me this look. You know the one? Like he was trying to figure out if I'd finally snapped. By Friday, I had a full system. Since I couldn't ask for anything, I created a series of request flags. If I wanted a snack, I'd silently raise a small blue flag. If I needed help with math, a yellow one. I would just stand in the doorway of the den, perfectly silent, waving a tiny flag until he noticed. The breaking point was the incident of the Post-its. Dad was watching the news, enjoying his peace, when I started communicating via sticky notes. I didn't just hand them to him. I'd creep up, totally silent in my fuzzy socks, and stick them to the side of his armchair. Stick. The humidity is quite high today. Stick. I sense a disturbance in the peaceful atmosphere. Stick. Would you care for a ginger ale? Wave once for yes. He finally cracked when I leaned over and silently placed a Post-it directly on his forehead that read, "Only 12 minutes of silence remaining. Stay strong, Captain." He literally threw his newspaper in the air. "Okay, fine," he shouted. "Talk, scream, play the drums. Just stop lurking." I just smiled, pulled out one last note, and handed it to him. It said, "Weeds don't pull themselves, Dad. But I believe we have an understanding." I haven't pulled a weed since.